I wanted to make this video because obviously I started my journey into UFL content right off the bat with the start of the game, right? The start of UFL, and I was bullish, I was optimistic, and I couldn't have been more supportive. And I can promise you that I am rooting for UFL, but facts are facts, and I cannot be one of those content creators that sees that I'm gaining traction with UFL, sees that people are enjoying my content, they use my tactics, my tips and tricks, and because they are successful, they come back for more, and I could easily continue to just provide that, ignore all of the issues, not talk anything about the state of UFL and the state of, football video gaming and what the best football game is. But I'm not that person, and I can't stand content creators because I've seen, particularly with EAFC, I've seen many do that, and almost all of them are either gone now or their channels just didn't go any further, and they actually lost viewers, and rightfully so, because you're essentially just trying to pull the wool over your viewers' eyes. And there's some people that literally count on content creators' guidance because they're very green when it comes to knowledge of these games, and they just want to enjoy the best video game in football, and they want some help, so tactically, and tips and tricks wise, they're not behind, right? And so anybody that takes advantage of that and doesn't provide the whole scope of what's going on, I think they're POSs, honestly. I'm not going to do that. Now, I'm saying that because I know there's many, just like myself, that despise not only EA Sports, but kind of the EAFC culture and what it came to be. And just like myself, I left the top level of EAFC, right? Now, when I say that, there's obviously a wide scope at the top level. In the EA, the highest level you can get is Elite Division, and then I guess you can say it's highest level 0.5 would be EAFC Pro, or FC Pro as they call it. But then within that, you have like your top players in the world that played tonight, which, by the way, that was the first FC broadcast in a long time that I loved watching. Yes, it was a goal fest just like the games, but it was also incredible seeing how these top players, the top of the top players, dealt with manual defending, and how amazing it was when the top attackers in the world go against that manual defending. And there is some very impressive stuff, but all in all, the most important part, it was fun to watch, and there was some great football being played. The best part about it is that you could see just how important all of the passing play styles have become, which is a great sign for any football game. Now, when I say that, note that the least important attribute in UFL is passing. Please note that the least used top players in the game, right, are like your De Bruyne's and Bellingham in them. And I know some people love Bellingham, and I was about to use him in more of a cam attacking role, but the truth is, because passing means so little, I got CR7, who's a much better option because of his superior finishing. But it never bodes well for any game where passing, in a football game I should say, where passing isn't of importance. And I've said this 100 times, I'll say it 101. EA Sports does not deserve a pat on the back for releasing this amazing game. They deserve a what the hell have you been doing? It took UFL releasing the game they did, plus the loss of a lot of players, which also means the loss of money, for EA Sports to finally turn EAFC into the amazing game that it should have always been. Now from here, I'm sure they will add some AI assistance to their defending, because there's literally zero right now, but that's fine. That, considering that, and tackle-backs where like you win a ball and the player you stole it from can kind of win it right back, those are the only two main, like, as far as like issues that change the game a little bit, those are the only two that I see. And that's incredible considering where EAFC has came from and where a lot of football games are at, both currently and how they've been in the past. So I can't sit here, despite wanting UFL to succeed, knowing that right now the best thing for me would be to just ignore all this stuff and just keep providing UFL content like I have been. That would be the easy road, but it would not be the honest road. The honest road is to tell you, guys, EAFC is easily the best game. Because of this last patch, everything changed. And even if UFL was at its best, I would have to come out and say, guys, with what EAFC just dropped, with how much they've, changed their game, we don't stand a chance at getting a large player base here. And why that's important is because you already see the effects of not having a deep player base. It ties into some of these issues that we're having, right? The bugs UFL can remove, and let's hope that they do. Let's just assume that they will. Let's trust in them. Bugs, get them out of here. Let's trust that they will get this snapshot thing taken care of so that the meta doesn't become, okay, go buy Jonathan David or, whoever the best snapshot player is and just shoot with him. That's the only way you can score. Let's hope that they get rid of that so their game doesn't get rendered into just, that's a joke, right? If that's what your game turns into, especially in the attack, you have to buy Jonathan David and do a snapshot, or get a player and get him high effect snapshot, and then that's the only way you can shoot is a snapshot. So let's just assume and trust that they get those things out of the way, get the bugs out of the way, no more goalie issues, which would also remove the players that abuse those bugs to try to do the cross where the goalie doesn't react, or the corner flick glitches because they want to take advantage of the player lock issues and whatever. Let's remove all those. It doesn't change the fact that the wait time is unbearable in UFL, and that's connected to the fact that the player base is too thin, right? Now, the glitchy games, the laggy games, that's connected to this as well, because guess what? When they're searching for an opponent for you and it's taking forever, they keep widening and widening the search. So even when you end up getting a game after 1 million minutes, you end up playing someone that's you have no business playing, because it's just nonsense as far as the lag, the glitches. A lot of these errors with the game performance has to do with the lag, where your defenders all of a sudden won't defend, they don't react, your button delay, you can't even play a timed run like the right way and use the skill in that, because a pass is so delayed that your player will be offsides every single time. So it takes away the skill in everything. The delay in defense, it makes it impossible. You might as well put cones back there. The delay in attack means you just have to dribble or make sure if you pass, it's not like a through pass, because you can't time them. Because of the delay, your players will be offsides. The state of the game, no matter what, when it comes down to it, even if they fix all these issues, the thin player base cannot be fixed, especially because UFL was counting on getting a wider player base. When I finished my showdown, what was it I was talking about? We are going to show how good this game can be, how positive the community is here. That's going to help us grow the player base. AI, for an example, IE, not AI. For an example, we need to steal players from FC and eFootball. Okay? We can't do that with what EAFC has dropped. All right? Even if certain players despise EA Sports and will not go play the game at first, or even ever, let's just say, the people who just despise EA Sports, it's not enough. As much as it is a huge player base that despises EA Sports, there's not enough players that just will not play EAFC no matter how good it is. There's just not enough. And what that leaves you with is a thin player base, which leaves you with constant long wait times. Half your stream is going to be a countdown screen if you're a streamer. Half your content is going to be sifting through a load-up screen, all right? Then after that, the rest of your content is going to be sifting through the glitchy stuff that no one wants to see, right? I already had to do it with this past showdown. Now, when I finally sifted through it, I got a good chunk of beautiful highlights and beautiful goals to show. That's great. That's fantastic. But it's not enough, because let's, shift away from content creators for a second and just talk about the casual player, which is the player that you really need to grow the player base on a new game, right? In order to create diehard fans, you need that casual player base, and they grow into diehard fans if you have a good product. nobody's going to leave to go to such a distant second place game. It just makes no sense in the world, okay? It makes no sense at all. What you're seeing on the screen is just me going in cold into champs, all right? And I literally was like 500 at the finish of it, mainly just talking to my stream the whole time, because this is a big deal to me, considering the fact that I put my stamp on like content creating and stuff and started it, and have already in this short time just have great memories. My last stream wasn't even like a week ago, and then there's already been so many memorable moments in there. Which brings me to one of those memories as an example, when the #1 player in the world in UFL, Kevin Pedro, came into my stream, thanked me for my tactics, says he uses them, he's in the South America region, and said that's what helped him get to #1 in the world. That was amazing. Another one, Cherokee Whispers, I already shouted this out in a video, but getting his first 15-win showdown that night after matching me twice, tying me once, losing to me 4 or 5-0 the second time, for his 4th loss of the night, didn't whine or complain, went out and got his 15 wins. I don't care if I'm repeating it because I love stuff like that. That's why I release content. But you cannot build memories like that when Kevin Pedro already has told me he's sick of it. He's the #1 player in the game, the highest achievement you can get, and there's just no point. There's no rewards. There's nothing in place. He reached out to UFL to just try to see what they might be doing in the future or what they could possibly implement, and they just have no plans, no clue. They haven't even thought about it. They could care less. They'll give certain content creators like 20 mythic packs to open to try to get players to buy them, which was abysmal, by the way. Those packs, 30, 40, up to 50, 60 bucks. And go watch any of the mythic pack openings. They're a joke. There's nothing in them. So it's crazy to me that UFL, as responsive as they've been, they made a huge mistake there. While all these errors are still in their game, before this patch ever even was discussed, they're worried about releasing mythic packs to content creators to promote, to get people, their player base to go buy these mythic packs, while providing a broken game and while ignoring their top player. Literally, not top players, the top player in the game. Give that guy 20 mythic packs. Let him know what you're going to do about rewards in the future. So now what you did was you lost one of the best engines to promote your game, a player that made that journey to the very top. Congratulations, UFL. So they have more issues than even or the mainline issues. It's like, I said it last night, it's like an onion. The more you peel back an onion, the more issues there are. So they've made mistakes too. It's not just, they're facing a big bad giant and EAFC finally put everything behind it and now they crushed UFL. Well, yes, they did do that, but UFL dropped the ball in a lot of areas too, because here's the thing. If UFL could have at least been deep enough with 2v2 or an AI mode or something, I can defend it and find content to create and help keep this community pushing forward with UFL. But they made it to where I can't even do that. I can't. Even if all the bugs were removed and they did their very best, they've now lost their timing to gain players to hopefully support UFL no matter what EAFC does. They lost that timing. And if they would have maybe had some of their priorities straight, they could have possibly addressed this at the last patch. Before EAFC released their big-time patch that made this game amazing, UFL had the opportunity to do all what they're doing now, which let's just assume it does work, and they increase the game's a level of playability. Let's just say they increase it tenfold, 100% even. It's not enough now. You're already too late. You've already lost a lot of players. People already... Why do you think I went and tried EAFC in the first place? People were watching the glitchy nonsense, the long wait times on my stream, and said, dude, you got to try EAFC. It's amazing. You got to try it. Go ahead and try it. And so sure enough, I turned it on, and then from there, it's just, I can't lie. So I'm sure anybody who just hasn't tried it, but at least will watch what I'm providing, on screen right now as I'm speaking, just watching this, you can see how much better of a game it is, right? It doesn't matter how new UFL is, because yes, we can give them chances to provide a good product, but the reason why UFL was fine up to this point and it was okay to be patient with them is because EAFC was so broken that many players were like, hey, while this is broken, let's get behind UFL to then, keep moving forward and keep increasing the playability of their game and increase the fun you have in their game and the animations and all the good stuff, and stay with UFL while they add modes and add legends. And we had conversations on stream talking about what legends we'd want to see and all the hype and stuff while they work on adding it and turning the hype into actual gameplay, right? Yes, we could do that if EAFC was still broken and then eFootball was eFootball, it would be fine. But when there's such an amazing product out there, no matter how bad you hate EA Sports, you can't ignore that. None of these companies pay any of us. Yeah, different ones hurt different people more than others, right? You better believe Kevin Pedro probably hates, and this is me just speaking, he didn't say this, but I'm just saying, if I were him, I'd probably dislike, hate's a strong word, dislike Strikers more than I dislike EA Sports, because he made it to the #1 spot in Strikers and then was just shunned. While these guys are giving content creators mythic packs and this and that. And so, yes, there's a much larger amount of players that just have a terrible experience with EA Sports, but it's not like Strikers is paying them. I mean, look at that move to try to promote those terrible packs and the price of their skin packs. I mean, I ignore a lot of these things, but then when you do that with the mythic packs, and I talked to Kevin about what you guys did with him, when that's what should be celebrated, not you guys trying to get your player base to buy these. Even if you need some money, make them fair. Those packs, the mythic packs, should be no more than, let's say, 20, and that's a high-end price. Probably even 10. And the rest of those packs should be anywhere from $1 to $5, $7. All right? You're talking 30, 40, 60. I mean, give me a break. And this is somebody that isn't against putting money into the game. I put around $250 into the game to get the team that I wanted to showcase in my content, right? And that I grinded with to the top of the game. So, I'm just being honest. And moving forward, I can't ignore the best football video game out there that provides the most fun content. Okay, because that's my next thing. I want to help people improve. I want to provide great football on screen when I'm streaming and in highlights. And I want to help people, who are playing and having fun at a good football game. I want to help them with the tactics that they may not be familiar with the best players to get. Let them guide them through the large amount of promos and SBCs, which I do think there should be less, but help them sift through it so they don't get overwhelmed or so they don't feel like there's FOMO, so they know who to get, who not to get. Good cheap options, good medium and high options. And all the while getting back to my status, as a top player in the EAFC Pro ranks, climbing along with them as I learn this new game, starting from literally scratch, right? Because this is literally a brand new experience. Coming from, I haven't played since November, and even though that's not a ton of time, when you've been playing an entirely different game that with the mechanics and the feel is just totally different, trust me, it changes everything, especially when you come back and you have no familiarity to grip onto, when it's just a whole new patch, which makes it fun. That's not a bad thing, that's a good thing, because it makes it exciting, and it allows me to prove my stuff works with my own gameplay just as much as other people using my tactics and my tips and tricks and stuff, and the players I recommend and whatnot, allowing them to go use it and test it for themselves. So it's not deep enough in the UFL on top of all those other issues. I told you, it's like an onion, you keep peeling it back, and these issues just continue forward every time you peel back a layer, right? And no matter how much I want to say, well, what if UFL does this, this, and this? The whole thing was EAFC was broken, and eFootball, again, is what eFootball is. And so UFL had time. We could be patient. Almost like the same way that EAFC had all these years and didn't lose as many players as they should have, because there was no other competitor out there. UFL was coming into this knowing that they didn't have that luxury. They came into this space hoping to take advantage of EA Sports in a low time, which was smart. EA Sports had never been so low. FC 25 was the worst release ever of a FIFA/FC game. So the timing was right by UFL. But EA Sports finally, felt the heat. They finally saw their bottom line get hit, saw their player base shrink to a point, right? They might have seen this happen in little waves before, but it happened at such an impactful level that they finally showed what all that money can get them. And what all that money can get them is the ability to immediately take the worst ever FIFA, FC, whatever you want to call it, and turn it into the best football video game, not only of this year, but in the past literal decade or more. Okay? Having goal fest games isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just now they have a good problem, which is, hey, we're starting our defensive AI from zero. We can literally do a 10%, 5%, 20%, whatever increase just a little at a time until it gets just right. And if they mess it up the first time, oh gosh, we have some goal fest going on. You have to learn how to really, really play defense. And so the goal fest continue, and then guess what? They keep tweaking that number as far as the percentage-wise that the defensive AI will help until they get it exactly right. That's a good problem to have, okay? All the things that I just discussed with UFL as far as problems go, those aren't good problems to have, fellas. So just the reality of it is, you're talking about fear of missing out. I don't want to see you miss out on a chance to be part of, like, history, literally, this groundbreaking release from EA Sports. Feel it for yourself. Feel how the game feels, and you'll see why I'm saying it's historic and it's groundbreaking. Not only in the sense that EA Sports has never released such an impactful patch. They haven't released such an impactful game year over year, but to do so not only, like, they're doing it mid-season, and not only like mid-season, earlier than mid-season actually, like literally like what, couple months earlier than mid-season of their release. But not only that, they did it on the back of the worst, like literally widely regarded as the worst FIFA release ever, and they turned it into like the best. If that doesn't show you what they're capable of, which is another reason, hate them or not, why it's a good developer to get behind, because clearly they have the ability that many of these other companies, game developers, don't have. So all that combined with what I just said, the deep content that can come from this new patch, from where I'm at in the game, from my history with the game and the level I got to and what I can provide to players, and also connect with them more than maybe a Vergang or a Tex, who are so high up the ladder that their tactical and technical and all that advice, I mean, it takes a long time before you can really listen to their advice and apply it to your game, right? So with that being said, thank you so much for all your support, and I hope that it continues into EAFC. If it doesn't, I understand. Either way, it's nothing but love. I wish you nothing but luck. Keep grinding. Keep having fun. It's the most important part. And I look forward to the future. If you're with me, then thank you. And if you're not, then I wish you nothing but the best. Adios.